Good morning and welcome to Waking Up with Don. It's springtime and summertime is right around the corner. So we're all thinking about getting in shape, getting that beach body and, just being a little healthier and looking better for this season coming up. I've got a fella here by the name of JT who can tell you how to get that balance between exercise and nutrition to make sure your body is performing at the optimum level. JT, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Now your credentials are pretty impressive, and most noteworthy, beside all of the school and everything that you went through to do this for people, is that you were an advisor or a dietitian for The Biggest Loser?
Nutritionist, but
a nutritionist.
Yes. Right. Once they actually go to California and go to the farm, which is where they start.
For those of you who don't know what The Biggest Loser was, that was when these very large people compete to lose weight, and you were actually part of that show as a nutritionist.
Yeah, not in California, but once they're out there to do the beginning of the shoot, and then when they leave and go back to their hometown, they're able to solicit, a nutritionist or someone to help. And I did work with 3 or 4 families and 4 or 5 individual contestants of the show.
Yeah, that's it. Now, you don't have to be. I have a friend who's very large, and he's got a great sense of humor, but he knows he's very large. He's 300 plus. And he goes, "Hey, good news, I lost 40 pounds. He says, "Now I'm only morbidly obese." Instead of disgustingly obese, I'm only morbidly obese. And he jokes about it. He's got a great sense of humor. But he knows it's a health risk.
It is.
I mean, how bad is that for you when you're, say, 100 pounds overweight?
At the very least, it exacerbates any existing health problems he has: cholesterol, blood pressure, diabetes. But a lot of times we see that creating the problems. If we get their weight in check, get their nutrition in check, once their body fat drops and they start to eat the way they need to eat, the frequency, the types, the hydration, some natural supplementation. We've had an incredible success rate for folks drastically reducing and or coming off of medications pretty routinely and pretty quickly. It's not, a 6-month period of time before these things start to happen. It's a matter of days or weeks.
So what you are what you eat, I guess, is kind of true.
More true than what we
it sounds
imagine.
Cliche, but if you get your weight under control and you eat the right things, your blood pressure can become under control. Is that what I'm hearing?
Quickly, absolutely.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's. I think it's become even more apparent to me working with Dr. Nation, being that close to the medical side. For years, I was requesting information from doctors and working kind of, almost at times against, because I've been in the prevention business, if you will, for a long, long time, and not just medicate and treat whatever disease is going on, but trying to either reverse or prevent. So, being able to have access to the blood work and have a great physician, literally next door.
So it's not, you're not just telling people what to eat, and you're not just a fitness trainer or any of that stuff. You've got a doctor at your disposal who's going to give you no kidding medical advice on how to do this in a healthy and helpful way.
Absolutely. I'll have to give props to Dr. Nation. He's extremely good at what he does. But the thing that's most impressive about him and the way that he does medicine is that he's trying to prevent. He's not interested in putting a lot of medications out, if not necessary. He's very acutely aware of, what their medical concerns are, how it relates to nutrition, and we work very closely together to see to see how their blood work goes, see what their medications are doing, how much they're taking, how much they need to reduce, and it happens on a routine basis. We've had, I had a lady recently that's lost 40 plus inches, 20 plus pounds, and has come off 7 of her 9 medications.
Wow.
So, and this is over the course of about 5 weeks.
Yeah, because that whole weight gain, that crazy weight gain that a lot of us get, particularly when we get a little older, guys like when you think you get that little paunch and, maybe you're not as tight as you used to be and all that, those little problems start to creep up. We got to run off to a break, but I want you to explain something to me on the other side of this break. I've heard this expression, eating clean. And maybe you can tell us what all that means. Sure. And what we need to do to eat clean.
Absolutely.
Now, off to your local weather, brought to you by the West Pittman Law Firm. westpittmanlawfirm.com. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with JT or James Thompson. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with JT from Dr. Nation's practice up here on Ohio Avenue in Lynn Haven. And JT is a nutritionist, and he's going to tell us about eating clean. I've heard that expression, eating clean. Now, when I was a kid, it was like clean your plate. That was eating clean to me. But for someone with your credentials, that means something entirely different, doesn't it?
It's a term it's been coined for years and years. It's eating clean would be avoiding saturated fat and sugar. Those are the two things that really could be eliminated from the planet tomorrow, and we'd be just fine. They serve really no purpose for the human body at all. It's to make stuff taste good, but sugar and saturated fat, eliminating those, if I had to give someone one piece of advice, would be to cut sugar.
All sugars or just certain types of sugars?
Really, your body doesn't care. Sugar's sugar. A big misconception is I have a lot of folks that'll come in and tell me, what they currently eat. In the middle of the afternoon, they'll have a bowl of fruit or something like that, and that's going to spike insulin levels and cause the same havoc that it would be to have a candy bar. There's really no difference.
Really?
Now, granted, the fruit is not bad for you. You've got a lot of vitamins and minerals and fiber and things like that in different fruits, but the reality is the amount of sugar that's in fruit is just as bad as anything else. And it doesn't really make a difference. Your body doesn't care.
Because you always associate fruit and vegetables in particular as being kind of a healthy treat, you know? I mean, apple a day,
And one would be great. It's when it turns into, a frequent snack in between meals. If you're going to have fruit, have it with a solid meal. Have it with a protein source. Eat it in conjunction with other foods, not by itself. It does damage by itself. And again, I'll reiterate, I'm not saying fruit's bad. It has a lot of benefits and it's good. But if we're talking about losing body fat, then that's one thing that needs to be cut back. Because again, your body doesn't care if it's fructose or sucrose or lactose or whatever, sugar.
Okay, so refined sugar, though, if you put 2 in your coffee in the morning, that's white death, isn't it?
It is, and when you start talking about refined sugar or table sugar is not too much different than eating plastic. Your body's ability to absorb that and use that is very low. A lot of times that doesn't, it'll cause the bad things, but doesn't have any good in it whatsoever.
Years ago, I saw an interview with Sid Caesar. I don't know if you remember who Sid Caesar was, a golden age of TV. He was a comedian, and he was like one of the original fitness guys, in the TV industry. And very funny man. But I saw the interview. He says, and someone had asked him, I think it was a dinosaur show, one of those, and they're like, how do you stay so healthy? And he said, no fat, no sugar, no salt, period. And that was his lifestyle.
If you did nothing but that, it would make a substantial difference. Even just cutting sugar alone, if you didn't do anything else to your diet except eliminate sugar, it would make a substantial difference in the way you look and the way you feel, your sleep patterns, lethargy during the day. Certainly when you start moving towards folks that are borderline diabetic and things like that, it makes a huge difference.
How about salt? I mean, we all like a little salt, and it seems to me that almost everything you eat has already got salt in it, particularly if it's processed.
Yeah. When you start eating clean, those things have less sodium. It's the stuff, if you picture a grocery store, shopping around the edges of the grocery store is your healthiest and best bet. Anything in the center that's got a good long shelf life has got a lot of sodium, a lot of preservatives and things like that.
That's a good way to remember, because that's all the produce and dairy and
that's right.
Yeah, fish and meat. Yeah.
But in general, the amount of fruits and vegetables you have, the veggies wouldn't fit in the same category. You really couldn't overeat those. And if you overate the vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, Brussels, spinach, asparagus, things like that are all very high in fiber and very good, but people also add to that equation corn, cucumbers, carrots, tomatoes, chickpeas, things like that. And now we're talking about that's nutritionally a lot closer to fruit, especially things like corn. They're very starchy, turn into sugar quick. So a lot of it's education, just what the mass has pushed out of what's good and what's bad is very skewed.
What about snackers? I've heard people say 3 squares is okay, but 5 grazing episodes throughout the day is a little healthier. Is that true?
Substantially true.
Yeah.
Eating 3 meals a day allows your metabolism to remain slow. Doesn't give it much to do. Everything your body does is an adaptation to something, whether it's a callus or a sunburn, your metabolism's included. Eating 3 times a day allows your metabolism to stay relatively complacent and doesn't work very hard or very efficiently at processing those meals because it's got plenty of time from now to the next.
JT, if there was one tip that you could give our viewers on how to make that very first important step to healthy or clean eating, what would it be?
Increase your water intake, 64 to 96 ounces a day. Get rid of sugar and eat every 3 to 4 hours.
Good advice. JT, thanks a lot for coming on the show, and
Thank
I
you for having
appreciate your expertise and sharing that with our audience. And now off to your Max Biz tip by Zenobia.
Hi and good morning. Welcome back to Waking Up with Don. I'm Zenobia Andrews, your business system strategist, and I am thrilled to be here in the Max Out Studios bringing you your Max Biz tip for today. You know, all week long we've been talking about the 5 key steps to maxing it out. And today's tip is one of my favorite. It's kind of challenging, but it's one of my favorites, and that is working on yourself. Working on yourself. You see, we have to be so passionate about the continuous self-development. You see, so many people think that when you graduate from high school and you graduate from college, that your education ends, your self-development ends. But I'm here to share with you, my friend, it never ends. You've got to continuously work on yourself to have all of the success that you desire to have in your life. And you see, the work here, the key word here is work. It's work. You've got to be able to push yourself to the limits, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. And this isn't the time, my friend, to think, you know, well, I'm perfect. I've got it all together. No one has it all together. Even on your best day, there's always just a little bit of room for improvement. So you've got to be honest with where you are. If you need financial management support in that area, get the support. If you need help with getting past failures and you're walking in a mode and a mindset of fear, get past the fear by getting help and owning up to that, okay? I'm Zenobia Andrews, your business system strategist, and I am here to support you to press to be the best that you can be spiritually, emotionally, and in your business, right? You can look me up at www.zenobiaandrews.com. If you follow me on social media, I'll follow you back. Take care, and let's continue to press towards the max.
Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Jerry Williams from Deja Brew out on Thomas Drive on Panama City Beach, which, by the way, is the best coffee on the beach, because I've been to your establishment a couple times. We even shot a show there where you roast and age and brew and do all that crazy stuff. That makes a beautiful cup of coffee. What do we got going on here,
Well, first
Jerry?
of all, let me thank you for your show that you did last time, and also for your liking our coffee.
Oh, I love it.
That's music to our ears when people say they like our
Well,
coffee.
I am a coffee fiend, so. So
we're going to repeat what we did in the first show, because I've had some people who said that it went too fast. But we're going to do fast again, but I'm going to try to be a little bit more explicit about how to make coffee in a French press.
Okay.
And the equipment that you would need to do it at home that's in an economical way. Okay.
Okay, and you can get all this stuff at Deja Brew.
You can get the we've got the French presses, we've got the coffee. The rest of the stuff you probably have to go to your big box store. They're readily available at those places. So one of the things that you want is a digital kitchen scale. Probably already have one.
Okay.
Little condiment cup to put the beans in. You need a digital timer. Okay. These 2 items right here are probably the most expensive, but both of them are still less than $20. This is a electric water kettle, and this is a blade grinder.
Okay.
It's the most expensive kind of grinder, but it works very well for the home environment. Okay. So we've got all of our equipment. Oh yeah, you need a plastic spoon so that you can stir it up with when you get to that point. Okay. Couple of things. We want to use the best water that we can. We happen to use spring water. Turn that on. I'm going to bring it up to temperature. I got a little thermometer touch in the spout, so I know what the temperature is going to be. somewhere within 5 degrees plus or minus of 200 is what we want. So we got that going. Next thing is coffee, fresh whole bean coffee, and of course we have that available at Deja Brew, and we have it from 12 different countries, half a dozen different blends that we keep in stock all the time, different flavor characteristics for your enjoyment. Okay, we've measured here 50 grams of coffee beans, whole bean coffee. Okay, we're going to put it into our grinder. One of the things that we've learned with this grinder is you don't want to push it down and just let it run. You want to pulse it. And for the kind of grind that we need, you want to pulse it about 8 times. Turn my water off there. And what you will come up with is what we call a medium coarse grind.
Yeah, it is a little coarser than what you would buy in the store.
Right, right.
It smells great too, by the way.
Next thing you're going to need is your press pot. We're going to make a liter pot this morning. You dump your grounds into your press pot. You get this out of the way here.
Smells great.
And then when you pour slowly to begin with, because what you want to do is to get the grounds completely wet, damp, as soon as you can. Okay, once you've got them all damp, as you can see they are, then you can speed it up a little bit and pour it up to the rim. Okay, let it set for just a moment, and you see it puffing up.
I do. I see a lot of air bubbles coming up through the flotsam and jetsam there.
At some
floating on
point,
top.
it will go poof.
Poof.
Yeah, and it just went poof. You take your spoon, you give it a stir,
It's magical, I tell you.
and then you put your top on. We have our timer set for 4 minutes. We turn it on and we wait.
Okay. And we don't press or do anything. We just wait for 4 minutes. Okay, so we're going to run off to a commercial break, and maybe on the other side of that, we'll get to enjoy some of this great coffee that you just made with your French press.
All right.
With the coffee from Deja Brew out on Thomas Drive. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Jerry Williams from Deja Brew out on Thomas Drive on Panama City Beach, and we're using a French press. I hear that little beep.
Yeah, it's ready to go, Don.
So we've had our 4 minutes of steeping. Now, I just push this thing down, Jerry?
Very slowly.
Not too fast, because that could get messy. Is that
There, that's good. That's
just
a
like
good
that?
rate. Yes,
Okay.
keep going.
So you could actually see those.
You can see the filter moving down.
You can see the grounds going down to the bottom, being pushed down. And we have pressed us some good coffee. Now I go all the way to the end, don't I?
Yes, all the way down.
All right. Now we are there.
And
now
you're there.
I can feel the heat coming off of this.
That's-
This is mad hot
That's
coffee right
mad
now.
hot. Let's try this one. I made another one, and this one has had a chance to cool just a little bit.
Okay, and this is exactly the same
Same
process
type,
that you
yeah,
just
same
used.
process. It's just a fancier looking French press.
I like it.
It costs twice as much as the other one does, but they both work exactly the same way. And there's a cup for you,
All right.
and there's going to be mine. We're drinking Java this morning. There is an island called Java in the Indonesian growing region, and so this is the true Java.
All right. Well, bottoms up, that true Java. I got to tell you, if you're a coffee fiend like I am, this type of coffee, even without sugar, without any cream or anything like that, it's really delicious.
Yes, this is a bold coffee, and it has a little bit of an earthiness to it. It's got a little bit of a citric tint to it. It also has, if you really taste real good, some berry flavors in it.
So coffee isn't just coffee.
Yes,
I mean,
that
there's
is,
all
depending upon where it grows and how it's grown and how they fertilize it, weather conditions, all coffees from different countries around the world will have different taste characteristics.
And you have a coffee for all tastes out there at Deja Brew, don't you?
We hope so. We got coffees from 12 different countries.
Uh-huh.
So we're circling the globe.
Yeah, and it doesn't get any fresher than what you do out there, where you actually import the beans, you roast them.
We roast on site. We're roasting 3 times a week now.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come in and buy coffee from us, you're getting the freshest roasted coffee in town.
And not just coffee in the morning. I mean, I stopped by there in the afternoon once and had a really great frappuccino.
All day long.
Yeah, so that's wonderful stuff. Jerry, how long have you been out there on the beach
We've
now?
been there 11 months now, and we're looking forward to our first anniversary here soon, and hopefully we'll have some type of festivities to go along with it, and we'll let you know when that happens.
Well, it's nice to be invited, and I look forward to having some great coffee at Deja Brew, the official coffee of the Don Arias Show, Waking Up with Don with Deja Brew and Jerry Williams out there on Panama City Beach on Thomas Drive. Stop by, get some coffee. We'll see you next time.